very concentrated way to reach to samadhi. All these days, almost 1.5 years, I think, we are discussing about this Yoga Sutra, and slowly preparing our mind, we have reached to a place, a point where we will enter into samadhi. And with that concentrated mind, what type of power, supernatural power, yogic power we can have, that we will study in this Vibhuti Pada. But as usual, we will first chant this mantra from the Shankaracharya. Mano Buddha Hamkara Chittani Naham Nacha Shotra Juve Nacha Grana Netre Nacha Vyoma Bhumi Na Tejo Na Vayu Chidananda Rupa Shivoham 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 Shivoham. This is the whole thing, ultimate thing of the Sanatana Dharma, Hinduism, Vedika Dharma, that we are actually Shiva, the God, the Brahman. But we do not understand that. And for that we suffer. Sometimes we enjoy a little bit and then we suffer. And suffer all through our life, we experience, then we think where to go, what to do. How we can go beyond this. When we are thinking in this way, then we study many of the scriptures and then we come to know about the concentration, meditation. Who is going to do this concentration? Who is going to do this meditation? Me. Again, only the gurus and the scripture, the Patanjali, they are only giving the suggestions. But who will do it? Me. So all depends on me. What I will do? I will only move, clean some of the dust that has come on me, and that in the terminology of yoga is called ajnana. In Vedanta it's called ajnana. This ajnana, superimposing those things, those things which are not actually true. This is very peculiar. We studied up to the 3rd chapter. This is 9th sloka. Buddhana nirodha samaskarayoho. Buddhyana means awakening. Nirodha, when all the time we sit for meditation, there is something, some impulses within us that takes us all the time out of the concentration. Buddhana nirodha, and we are concentrating again, controlling that. So what actually forcing us to be awakened, coming out of meditation, becoming aware of the worldly things all around? My samskara, my mind. And inside the mind there are some desires. I am meditating. Certainly there is a sound. Immediately the desire came. Who is it? What is it? And immediately I turn my eyes, I turn my face, open my eyes, and I come away from the concentrated condition of my mind. So Bhuttana is that, and we have to suppress it. No, I am not going to open my mind, open my eyes. Not going to say, oh, what, let it do, whatever is going to happen. One Janaka, king, he was concentrating. Then someone came and told, your whole, this palace is burning. It doesn't matter to me. I won't be here all through the palace. Let palace die. Burn, that doesn't matter at all. So this example, that type of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna used to tell himself, look, I am going to sit for meditation. Whatever happens, I am not going to get up. And he used to think that all his body, all over his body, locks are coming. He cannot move his hand, he cannot move his leg, he cannot think in this way, locks are coming. So this is all example practices of Bhuttana Nirodha Samaskara. Samaskara means impressions. Then we are fighting with our mind. What is mind? Impressions. And most of the impressions are dragging us out to the same subjects. Now, we have to force our mind with another impression that we are not going to see anything, hear anything, or becoming aware about surroundings. As long as I am meditating, concentrating, this is my result. I won't. So this is, they say, Bhuttana Nirodha Samuskaraya Avibhava Pradurbhavo Nirodha Kshana Chittannayoho Nirodha Parinamaha. Nirodha Parinama. What is that? Nirodha. Nirodha means concentration, controlling. Parinama, result. The result of concentration is the totally erasing the impressions. And that's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said again and again, the religious life should begin when we are very young. Why? Because there is not much impression. Whatever impression we have carried from the past, it is there. But in this life, at least, we are safe from that. So with that fresh mind, if we try to understand this, it helps. So that is the reason it says, arising of the latent impressions are the characteristics of the mind staff. The mind staff, the chitta, it's not mind, the total, the mind staff, its characteristics is all the time arising from the concentration. See, when we are observing a movie or something, the game, some people they like games, we forget how the time is passing. And that next morning I have to go to attend some duty. You're all enjoying. Because so many movements are there, excitements are there, mind is going and holding something. But if you ask the same person to sit and concentrate 5 minutes, then he will raise the hand. Is it sufficient? 5 minutes is sufficient. So why? I am sitting quietly and comfortably, closing my eyes. Why can't I see it? Because the nature of our mind staff is always chanchala. It is all the time moving and moving. So that is exactly what we have to understand and then fight against that. Nirodha. Tasya prashantavahita samskarat. Then in the 10th sloka, aphorism, and the 3rd chapter it says, Tasya, of that mind, prashantavahita, tranquility. And that tranquility all the time, samskarat, it become again that samskara means the impression of the mind to be always tranquil, quiet, happy. There's a story in the Upanishad, many of you know. There's the two birds of the same plumage and the same tree. One was jumping here and there, hopping here and there, and trying to eat this fruit, that fruit. Sometimes one fruit is very sweet, it's enjoying, another bitter, it is not enjoying, suffering. So it was going on. Suddenly it looked up and saw the same bird, another bird, sitting nicely, quietly. How can you sit like this? He was asking. And this is the answer. Because one person, Bhagavan Buddha, sitting quietly just at your back. Statue, of course. And this Bhagavan Buddha quietly sitting. That is all the time statues we see, picture we see, paintings we see. Why? Because he is tranquil. And from that mind it says ahimsa. Ahimsa means only that condition of mind. It cannot harm, because constantly a love is flowing. And that is why ahimsa paramo dharma. Parama is the highest. Dharma is the religion. The highest religion is that continuous flow of tranquility, one-sidedness, love. So, tasya prashanta bahita samaskarat. Samaskarat means when the cessation of the thought waves become a habit. Samaskara again is a positive. And negative samskara, going out. Positive samskara, not going out. So this is the way. Please, we have to remember we are discussing about the Yoga Sutra. And here the Yoga Sutra means those who are interested to concentrate, to meditate, to go to Samadhi, that is the highest. So obviously, this time when we are discussing this particular point, these are the things we must say. So that's why when we read the Bhagavad Gita, sometimes Krishna is telling, Tasmad yogi bhava Arjuna. You must be a yogi. Arjuna is confused. You are asking me to become a yogi. Again you are asking me to fight. What is it? Actually, all paths are good. But it depends on the people, particular attitude. I told, I think, that one of our senior Swami asked me that you must practice 3 hours in the early morning meditation, and then again immediately after bathing another 1 or 2 hours, then after taking little rest, after lunch and rest, again 2 hours, again in the evening time, again before that means 8 to 10 hours he was suggesting. I told, I will die. It's not possible for me right now. Please allow me to grow in my own way. So that is his habit. Then I was encouraging, Swamiji, how could you do it? Don't you feel like going and playing a little, or talking, or chatting, or reading? There are some other books. He told, no, I never had any friends. From my childhood, he grew in that way because of the samskara. Now suddenly if we try to imitate him, I will lose my balance. So that is the thing we have to understand. Here when it says this is the ideology, ideal, for those who wants to make the mind totally controlled, and then ultimately it will go to tasya prasanta vahita samskarat. Then in the next, the 11th aphorism, it says sarvarthata ekagratayoho shayodayo chittasya samadhi parinamaha. The same thing he says, but in a different terminology. Sarvarthata, when all mental disturbances disappeared, then the mind becomes one-pointed. Sarvarthata ekagratayoho. when the mind becomes completely concentrated, one point. Eka agra. Eka means one. Agra means the pointed. There is only one point and nothing else. Now in the Mahabharata again, the Arjuna, he only saw that eye of that bird and nothing else. That is called ekagrata. All his brothers and friends, they were also concentrating, they were also trying to shoot the arrow. They were also trained in that, but they could not concentrate. So Swami Vivekananda is telling the difference between man to man is nothing but the concentration level. When a person is highly concentrated, he becomes successful wherever he goes, whatever he does. And when a man is not that way attentive, he can't do. So only this difference. Whose mind? My mind. What is happening is going in different places, so naturally losing the strength. The same mind, when becoming one-pointed, becoming very powerful. And that is the reason they always say all people, most of the people, they go to different gods. That's good. So they will go to different type of gods. They'll be going to synagogue, to church, to mosque, to Indian temples, Hindu temples. They are religious people, good people, but not one-pointed, not concentrated. That's why the progress is very, very slow. And that is why you have to, that is the tradition in our Hindu Dharma, you have to go to a guru and accept a person as your preceptor. Why? Can't I go to God? You can, but it will be slow. The moment the guru says, this is your point and this is your target, this is your God or goddess, this is your Ishta Devata, you go. And this is the way you must have to. Then before that they tell you must have to obey the words of Guru as truth. So psychologically they are prepared. And then that same mind becomes concentrated, one-pointed, and it becomes very, very successful. So this is the way sarvarthata ekagratayoho shayodayo chityasya samadhi parinamaha. Then as becomes a one-pointed, then entered into the state called samadhi. So ultimate of the yoga is samadhi. The ultimate of Vedanta is jnana, atma jnana, brahma jnana. The ultimate of the bhakti, to reach God, to know God, to go near God. So these are different goals. I like to go to God, I like to serve God, I like to become the friend of God. Like that, so many in the bhaktis, they are there. Then they are reaching over there. And this yoga, they go to samadhi. And samadhi is the ultimate of the yoga. Sarvarthata means the impressions and the waves of thought, both external and internal. Sarva artha, sarva means all. And there are two realms, one is external, another is internal. And internal mind, there are so many impressions are there, it's continuously coming up. I don't go out. I'm all the time sitting in the room. But you go and see the elderly people, they are in their world, the world of their experiences, the world of their impressions. They are continuously thinking of so many things. When we went over there, and then the people, they will save the photographs, and then they will go back to that, oh, when I went, this happened, that happened, so many things. So the internal world, and then external also, when we are going, and new impressions are coming. So when the both external and internal impressions are totally controlled, ekagrata On one object it is concentrated. Ekagra, eka agra, ekagra. On one point only it is objected. And shayadayo, one is reducing, another is increasing. Shaya means decreasing. What is decreasing? All my previous different impressions. And that is decreasing. I don't know, I can understand. That's why the monks, they usually try to forget all their past life. They don't try to remember. Bireshwarandaji Maharaj used to ask him, in which college you studied? So what is that to you? Are you going to be over there to study? He won't say anything. Where is your home? No, he never said. Even he never entertained the date of birth. Swamiji, what is your date of birth? We like to observe, we like to bring a cake. He used to be very angry. So why? There's only one date if you like to observe the date of birth, that is Sri Ramakrishna. And in that all of our dates are there. Go. So that way only one pointed, because the past impressions, and that is very strong impressions. When I am going to other people, that impressions are very small, or we can say not very strong. But the impressions of my own family, the mother, and the more we grow older, more our mind goes to that house, that area, that father, mother, auntie, grandfather, all those impressions come. When they were there alive, we never looked at them. When they are not, we are very much thinking. Why? We are bound to think. Why? Because that is the characteristics of the mind stuff. It brings back. Now, Shaya, Dayo, both we have to give away. So, what? First is reducing, another is increasing. What is increasing? One only impression. The Guru said, you must concentrate your mind over here. And then you think that your Ishta Devata is sitting on a flower, and you are washing the feet of your Ishta Devata, preparing food for him, preparing garland, flower garland for him, and then burning an incense stick. Then you are saying, then 1 hour goes like that. Only closing my eye, I am thinking that I am doing worship inside my heart. And no one to disturb. No one to disturb. I am doing my worship. Then this way so many days and goes by. And whatever I think and pray, it comes true. Gopaler Ma, there is a wonderful life. And very the elderly lady. If it is possible, please read this book. Swami Vivekananda took the Western devotees to show Gopaler Ma. You want to see the ancient India? Go and see. Swamiji was a great scholar. He used to give the wonderful lectures. But the people listening to the lecture, and then what? All Vedanta. But he wanted to show the example. He took them to Mother, Ma Sharadamani Devi, and to Gopaler Ma, very humble lady, and go and see how they have developed a religion in their life. What was the thought of Gopaler Ma? One pointed thought. I want God as my child. That's all. And nothing else. When she is sleeping, she is thinking that God is a small little baby sleeping by her side. When she is cooking, thinking, my Gopala, God, the baby Krishna is Gopala. That baby Krishna, he will eat it, and he likes this, and he is preparing, she is preparing all this. So that way one pointed thought, and then by the grace of the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, suddenly one day she saw that Gopala is playing all around. And she forgot, it cannot be how God, all-pervading God, all-powerful God, the creator of this universe, can be in such a small baby form and all the time running around, touching this one, breaking this and breaking that. And she is running after that. So Vivekananda took these Western ladies to show her that these are the lives. See how you hear about this is the book Vivekananda wrote, he spoke, then afterwards it was written, published. That's the Raja Yoga. This is a wonderful book. But after reading that, what? If you don't see the life, if you don't see the expression, so this is there. So sarvarthata ekagratayoho shayodayo chittasya samadhi parinamaha. And this samadhi of Gopal Ma, how she was totally concentrated on Gopala only. She had no other thought. Next morning, whole night, she was playing with Gopala. Next morning, like a proud mother, she was carrying the Gopala on her left hand, and Gopala's head was on her shoulder, and the boy was sleeping. The mother is going. When the others saw, they were wondering what this old lady is doing, because they can't see Gopala. They are only seeing that somehow the old lady, she is walking, and she is not very much careful about her dress. Why? She wanted to show her child to Sri Ramakrishna. And you know what happened. When the child went over there, immediately she got down from the lap and entered and merged in the person of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Then Gopal's mother understood that this is Gopala. And from then onwards, she used to address Sri Ramakrishna as Gopala. And Sri Ramakrishna used to respect her as his mother. Ma Sharadamani Devi used to respect her as mother-in-law. So this is the relation with the God through one-pointed mind, concentration. Not that all the time we have to sit over here and close our eyes and then take so much of this breathing and out and in. No, through devotion also one-pointedness. So this is called Chittasya Samadhi Parinamaha. Some people are very, very curious. Why? So many impressions are already there, but still they are curious to know others. Why she is there, why he is there, what she is doing, what he is eating, why he is wearing this, everything they like to know. And what happens ultimately? This is the picture of our mind. We cannot control. And that is, the Ma Sharadamani Devi told, it's good to keep information about your neighborhood, that's good. But do not discuss about that. Do not be curious. Do not waste your energy in that. Because our energy is very limited. Time is limited. And moreover, we have all old impressions we have to eradicate. Now new impressions are coming. What will happen? There's so many things all the time we do, and that is very, very wrong. And they say, naturally disturb our mind. Naturally. Most of the time I read one funny story. And not only that, one husband-wife, the duo, they enacted on the stage in Bengal, Calcutta. There was no other actor or actresses, nothing, only one scene. The husband in one corner and wife is another corner. They are having two telephones and going on, giving the dialogues, and all people are only listening. The wonderful way they were placing, the whole life they were discussing over telephone. And here also I found some of the people, they will be constantly, particularly, I am sorry, And mostly the male folks, they will be discussing about big things. What the President of America is going to take decision, that they will discuss over a cup of tea. And so that also unnecessarily, I also do that. So this way we are all the time spending our time, and then impressions are coming. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna never liked the newspapers, because all sorts of information are coming in the mind and mostly not true. So that's why unnecessarily and all negative type of thoughts are coming. So this is very bad. We have to be careful. Those who are really interested to concentrate, to develop their mind's power, they must be very careful. Anything positive? Okay, I am always with you. But something negative? No, I am not very much curious about you. No, that's okay. So this is and in America it is one thing good, at least by courtesy, people never poke their nose in other. When I am studying something in the book, they will never glance. By the next seat there someone is sitting, they won't glance. They won't see, won't disturb. But in our country we are so curious. Just like the child. Moment you go, where from you are coming, what is your name, and who are in your family, what do you do, why you have come, how long you will be here, and then you never knew that what you are going to do, and then he will make a whole chart. Okay, now you go, I know about you. But why? Curious. The curiosity, just like child. There's nothing wrong, but the thing is, the mind gets entangled with so many other impressions. It's not necessary. At least when we are trying to concentrate our mind. So Brahmananda ji said, the spiritual life begins after samadhi. We talk about spirituality, we talk about religion. This is, Swami Vivekananda said, religion begins after realization. And we are fighting for religion, killing others in the name of religion, not knowing what is religion. So this is the very peculiar condition. And there are some people, we are also trying, good people, they are trying to bring the peace, harmony. But how? Because none of us have reached to the goal. We are all on the path only. But each and every one are giving the direction. As I told, one young lady came to convert me, and she was telling, read these books and why you will go to heaven, you will get peace. I am having lot of peace, and right now I am not interested in going to heaven because I have a lot of work over here. So like this, I was just joking with her. I told, have you reached there? No. Then why don't you go first? Go and see. If the heaven is a good place, then come back and tell me. I will follow. So everyone is interested to guide others. That is why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, in the very first pages of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, you will find he is rebuking one of his very famous disciple, Master Mahashaya. Master Mahashaya is telling that we will go and give the lecture to people so that they understand it. And this is the main disease of you people from the cities. All the time you like to give lecture and guide others, not knowing what you are going to tell. So this is very important. Religion means begins after realization. Unless and until we are graduated, how can I become a teacher? So this is very simple. Unless you are a graduate at any subject, you cannot be a teacher of that subject. So obviously here also one only can become spiritual, religious after this. Now if you point your finger to me without telling anything, then what about me? What about us? Are you all realized soul? No. But at least we have understood this, that we are not going to give anything without understanding, at least intellectually. What we are telling, these things only. It's nothing of that I am telling. It is here in the scripture, only we are studying together. When you go and give the lecture, what do? We only speak about the scriptures, about the great lives, not about us. Not a single word that I have done this, oh, you do this, no. So we are called harbingers. We are only blowing the conches and making people aware there is something very good. Why don't you try it? That's all, and nothing else. So this is, the Swamiji said, Brahmanandaji said, religion means only the realization and samadhi. Samadhi means realization. How are we to know that our mind has become concentrated? Now the question Swami Vivekananda is asking. Many people, they'll be writing, that I am so busy replying, because I always try to contact people, giving the reply, because many people are asking questions, different type of religious questions. Now this is a very important question. How I will know that my mind has become concentrated? Vivekananda is giving the answer. The idea of time will vanish. How I will know that my mind has become concentrated? Idea of time will vanish. There will be no idea of time. So some of the scientists, when they are doing something concentrated, the doctors, very complicated operation, total concentration. They do not think about their family. They do not think what is going to happen afterwards or what happened. Only thing, there will be a chart and they know these are the things we have to take care, and they are operating. Is it not concentration? That is the concentration. Sometimes some doctors, they will operate for 4 hours. Unthinkable. A little bit mistake means death. So the concentration, not only sitting over here in the asana inside a temple, concentration, after developing the concentration, that powerful mind can be utilized in any field. So how we are to know the mind has become concentrated? The idea of time will vanish when the past and present come and stand in one. One of the mind is said to be concentrated. Past and present has become one. Then we know that our mind has become concentrated. Here the present, nothing. Past, I don't remember. They concentrated. One person, he was asking Mahavira, Hanumanji, the great god in Hindu mythology, that Hanumanji, what is the date today? I don't know. I don't care about the date, Tithi. I only care about Rama. For me, every day, every moment is nothing but Rama. That's called concentration. If you go and ask him, he doesn't know. One of our Swamiji was there, and about him, there's a book is also there. That day, some of the devotees, they were reading in Florida. When they asked, what is your age, Swamiji? Then he turned to his assistant and said, hey, what is my age? How much? He told 85. Oh, okay, I'm 85, he told. After 2-3 years perhaps, the same person went and asked, Swamiji, what is your age? He told 85. Is it not increasing last 2 years, 3 years before you told 85? Well, I don't know, ask him. He never bothered about all those things. But he bothered about Omkara. He used to listen to that Omkara constantly. And he used to ask other people, do you listen to it? Do you hear this Omkara? Can't you? It is very easy. Constantly it is coming. His mind was concentrated in that. So that is the concentration. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna went to Kashi, a very famous pilgrimage center with all the landlords. He was sitting in one room, and the landlords, they always talk about the money and this business thing, how much you purchased of that and what you are going to do, when you are going to sell, how much you will charge, all these things. Sri Ramakrishna was crying, Mother, I was so happy in Dakshinesha. Why you have brought me over here? They never talk about God, they only talk about something else. So that's called concentration. The one-pointed mind, it cannot go anywhere. So that is Shantadito Tulla Prattayo Chittasya Ekagrata Parinamaha. Now, this is the 12th aphorism. Here it says Shanta. Shanta means the past. See, the terminology changes. Shanta, Mahanta, Nibasanti, Shanta is a different. And here the word Shanta is used as the past. And sometimes the Atma word is used for so many things. Urdharet Atmana Atmanam in the Bhagavad Gita. Urdharet Atmana Atmanam na Atma avashadayet. Atmaiva Atmano Bandhu Atmaiva Ripu Atmana. Like a riddle. So again and again the same Atman has been used, but for the mind. You have to help your mind. You have to drag up the mind with your mind. And this is here the Shanta are Udito. Shanta means past. Udito, present. Udita. As the sun is rising, we call Surja Udita. It's coming up. The present means every moment it is coming up. Shanta, it has ceased. So past. So using the word Shanta, because Shanta means usually no activity, quiet. When you are sleeping quietly, they say the very quiet place, Shanta. That means no activity, the past. When it is something is rising up, Udita. So the past, present, Tulla Prattayo. Tulla means comparing. Tulla means comparing, and that is the same. In the Bengali, in Indian language, they say Tula Danda, the measurement rod, they say Tula Danda, Tulla. This is comparing. Chittasya, the mind star, Ekagrata Parinamaha. Ekagrata means one-pointedness, Parinama, result. Here the mind becomes one-pointed when the past and present thought waves in the mind become one-pointed. And let me read out from this book, this wonderfully explaining this aphorism. It has been said that if the mind can be made to flow uninterruptedly towards the same object for 12 seconds, only, this may be called concentration. Now, just note, 12 seconds. And we sit for such a long time. Only 12 seconds in one flow, nothing else, called concentration. If the mind can continue in that concentration for 12 times 12 seconds, the Swamiji, Prabhupada ji, he is calculating 12 times 12 seconds, namely 2 minutes 24 seconds. This may be called meditation. This is so simple. We can try. If the mind can continue in that meditation for 12 times 2 minutes and 24 seconds, namely 28 minutes, 48 seconds, this will be the Samadhi. Is it not very easy? The only a few seconds we have to try, that's all. And by practice, one can do it. Only we have to practice, nothing else. And suppose you are practicing with the flame of a light, of a candle. First we are seeing the whole candle with the candle rod, maybe surrounding. Then slowly we are forgetting all the surroundings. Then the candle with the candle rod. Then we forget the candle rod. Then we see only candle. Then we forget the candle. We see the flame. And then only that flame is covering, that light, covering everything, and nothing is there for 12 seconds, that's all. So if we can do that, then after that, when you are successful, maybe for 15 days, 20 days, 1 month, if you are practicing, then we can increase it up to the samadhi. And if the lower samadhi can be maintained for 12 times that period, it's called lower samadhi. And then go to higher samadhi. Lower samadhi can be maintained for 12 times of that period, namely 5 hours, 45 minutes and 36 seconds. This will lead to nirvikalpa samadhi. And nirvikalpa means there is no holding, just in that. If you read that poem of Swami Vivekananda, and there he is explaining in a nice way, in the last portion of that concentration, only one thing remained, I. And when that also merges, then what remains? Only he can say, understand, he or she can understand, those who have realized it. You cannot express it. No words can express it. So in the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, what happens? No one can express. But only expression is joy, full of joy. That's why when Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna asked that young man who afterwards became Swami Vivekananda, what do you want from me? The blessing so that I go to Samadhi, and then sometimes when I come up, Samadhi means this, total concentration, and sometimes I will come up, that means my mind will be alert, so that I will take little food to maintain this body. If this body is still there, as long as it is there, I can enjoy that. Of course, the Guru was a totally different type. Guru was God himself, and he had a mission, has a mission. And that mission is to make people, each and every one, aware that they are divine. So we can say he gave a whip on his beloved disciple Vivekananda. I was expecting that you will be a broad-minded person thinking about all, and you think about only your samadhi. That is very lower. Nothing is that. I will teach you to see God in every being, and that is also samadhi. That Swami Vivekananda, he travelled all over India. With that, got so much of experience, then came to America, came to this Chicago. So Chicago, that particular land, Chicago, the moment you utter the word Chicago, we can think of nothing else but Vivekananda. So Chicago is really a holy place. And we the Chicagoans who are here, the people of this place, should try to do something very permanent so that generation after generation can understand there was a wonderful thing happened over here, like Kurukshetra. And in the Kurukshetra, physically, the Sri Krishna was physically moving all those bad stuff. Here, in a subtle way, removing all the bad thoughts. And each and every soul is becoming divine. So that is the goal of Parliament of Religion. What is the goal of Parliament of Religion? This is the goal. By practicing my own religion, my own culture, my own language, I develop a thought, a mind, which can accept others also, It's not toleration, acceptance. These are the words of Vivekananda. If somehow we tolerate it, let them go. No, it is acceptance. I believe that that path is also true. So this, what they say, after the samadhi, it is possible, and here Vivekananda said that it is possible if you are serving others. But when you are serving others, not as a social worker, not for some exercise thing that will come, reward will come, no. You are serving them as God manifested in that being. That's all. Only thinking that I am serving God in that being. If you can, same samadhi will come. So here, in the next sloka, we will read and then we will stop here. Here we find that, just to conclude, 3 types of concentration we have already studied, 9, 10 and 11. In the 9th aphorism, in one line, disturbed impressions are held back. This is the concentration. When those thoughts are coming, impressions means the thoughts are coming, which are disturbing my mind, taking away my mind from God. Sometimes when you are concentrating, it is the experience of each and everyone. Those who have tried to concentrate. We are concentrating, closed eyes, sitting before the God in the temple, but mind is thinking something else. Then suddenly we hear, what I am thinking? I am here to meditate. Again you look at that picture or the image of God, again you concentrate, again sometime unaware mind is going somewhere else. So like this, the disturbed impressions you have to hold back, you have to otherwise. So we can remember sometimes the mother, they will hold the child and sleep, because the child, when it will see that the mother is sleeping, somehow it will get down and then go on playing, and the problem he will create. So that's why the mothers, because they are feeling sleepy, they will hold the child, and then similarly, when we are meditating, we have to hold our impressions. No, you cannot go now. Be quiet. Second, in the 10th aphorism, impressions are completely suppressed. I have seen the mothers, they are patting on the face of the children to make them sleep, going on, and he will be looking, trying, but afterwards he can't, then slowly goes into the sleep. Similarly, we have to go on holding and patting slowly, not very strong way, slowly, and slowly, all our impressions will go away. And that is the second. And third, flow of one impression only will come. The first is the impressions who are disturbing, we have to go on controlling. Second, when those impressions are now under control, that is the condition of the mind. And third, only one idea will flow in the mind. So that is, then in the 13th aphorism it says, etena bhutendriyeshu dharma lakshana vasta parinama vyakhyataha. Vyakhyata means explained. Vyakya means explained. What is you are explaining? The parinama, the result. What is the result of this? Etena, by these. What is this by these means? By this practice. These 3 practices that we discussed. By these 3 practices, bhuta and indriya, the 2 words there. And I think all of us who are regularly attending this lecture, this talk, we now know the moment we uttered the word bhuta, what does it mean? There are pancha bhuta. Bhuta means the elements. Shiti, apa, tej, marut, boma. We should not forget. So the Hindus, they organized in such a way to teach it every day. They arrange the arati. If you go to any Hindu temple, in the evening time, there will be an arati. And in that arati, the 5 things they are using. Shiti, Apa, Teja, Marut and Bhoma. That means the earth, water, the fire and air and the space. By three things. So these are the five. And then it says, Indriyeshu, the senses. That is the problem, na? Five things are there outside, and to enjoy that, they have given organs. If there is no organs, then what is the use? So I went to a sweet shop and I was going to see all this. Then I was asking, is there any sweet without sugar? Oh, sir, you please go away. This is a confectionery, sweet shop. It's not for you. You go somewhere. In Assam, I was trying to find, I was actually encouraging them to prepare some sweets without the sugar. But anyway, that was the harsh treatment I had to look, okay, I'm leaving. Because so many people were there and they were thinking, when I got down from the car and entered, they thought that I'm a big rich purchaser. And now they found that I am not going to purchase anything made of sweet and everything is sweet there. So naturally they told, don't waste time here, you go somewhere else. So like that, when we are thinking in this way, what are the problems? Objects. What are the objects? These five objects. Rupa, Rasa, Shabda, Sparsha and Gandha. These Sanskrit words you must remember. Rupa means the form. We see, and immediately that form comes back in my mind, and that creates. Similarly smell, similarly the touch, similarly the word that we hear, like this it goes. And then Pancha Jnanendriya, Pancha Karmendriya and the mind. Mind is the main center. Jnanendriya, they are collecting some information and asking the Karmendriya to act, and all these things go into the mind. Karmendriya, all this. So we know that there are 11 only senses and 5 objects. And then etena, by this practice, bhuta indriyeshu. Bhuta means that objects. Indriyeshu, dharma, lakshana, avastha. So again, a very peculiar terminology used over here. Usually we know that dharma means religion. But here the dharma means form. So dharma means the form. And then it comes lakshana, the time. And abhastha, the condition. That's very interesting, this place. I will read out from Swamiji, and he is explaining this aphorism in a very simple way. He was a man of meditation. He had his Nirvikalpa Samadhi when he was only 21 years, young man. Sri Ramakrishna was alive. So that time he had the Nirvikalpa. And so many times he had the Nirvikalpa. Here in this park in Chicago, sitting on a bench facing that Michigan lake, he had the Samadhi. So when you go over there, you always, oh, here one Swamiji, the place where person got the Samadhi, it's a holy place. If we only could understand on which chair. One lady came, is a great devotee, and after returning back, she was telling Swamiji, I spent 2 days in that Lincoln Park. 2 days? What is there? There so many chairs, the benches. And what's that? Now I went and sat on every benches and tried to meditate. I do not know which bench Swamiji used. Wherever he sat, that's a holy place. So these are the devotion, faith, belief. So here also we find Swamiji, he is explaining in this way. Suppose there is a lump of gold. It is transformed into a bracelet, and again that bracelet into an earring. These are changes as to form. This form means dharma, Dharma means the form. The form is changing. Our body is changing. Secondly, these are changes as to form. The same phenomena looked at form, the standpoint of time give us change as to time. When these things are happening, so the time is also changing. In the morning, I prepared it as a bangle, and then bracelet, and then afterwards the earring. Time is also changing, form is also changing. Again, the bracelet or the earring may be bright or dull, thick or thin, and so on. This is change as state. That is called dharma, lakshana, avastha. Avastha means the state. And what happens now, referring to the aphorism 9, 10 and 11, 12 that previously we have already discussed, the mind stuff is changing into vrittis. Inside our mind, all the vrittis are holding in one place, that is the mind stuff. This is changing. It changes the form, that is passes through the past, present and future moment of time, and then that impressions vary as to intensity within one particular period, say present, is changed as to the state. So we are constantly changing. So that here it says, not only our mind is changing, and previously maybe at Bhagavan Buddha in his Jataka stories, and that's not the story, that's the experience of Lord Buddha. And Buddha was a yogi, so he could remember everything that happened in the past. And here he is mentioning all his past life. In one life he was a bird, another life he was a lion, another life he was an elephant. And like this, it goes and goes, so many. And then he became an ordinary human being, then the son of a king, like that it goes. So that is way constantly our mind stuff is changing, time is changing, and the state is also changing. Next we will read, in the next class we will read how if one can control that, what are the effect? He can know his past. He can understand anything and everything. Like Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he told, I know your past, I can present and future, anything. As you keep the things inside the glass case almirah and can see the things from outside, I can see your minds, Lord Sri Ramakrishna said. I can see your minds just like that. Your past, your present, your future, everything I know. Same thing Krishna told. He told to Arjuna this. Arjuna told, how come? You are not that old. Then he told Arjuna, you and me both are taking birth, taking different forms. I remember everything, but you do not. So if one is really very interested and can practice it sincerely and can concentrate on a one point, we will come to those aphorisms. He can understand so many things, can get the power. Even one can become invisible by practicing concentration, but one should not practice. Then it will be very, very difficult, no? In the moment you become invisible. Thank you for listening so intently. Now let us conclude, and the next class we will discuss about all the yogic power that happens if one can concentrate. It is gone. Aham nirvikalpo nirakara rupo विभूत्वाच्च सर्वत्र सर्वेन्द्रियाणां न वा संगतं नैव मुक्तिर्न मेया चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं 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 शिवोऽहम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ तत्सत्।